Hey friends, welcome to The Book Was Hotter, presented by Avon Books.
We're here to share our most unhinged thoughts and feelings about romance books.
And if you don't have a book bestie, don't worry, because we're your book besties to yap about books, and our goal with this series is to provide a safe space for readers to talk about the books that we love and to giggle and kick our feet about them.
And on this episode, we're getting ready for summer. So we're talking about Emily Henry, Tessa Bailey, and what romance means to us. Now, let's get into it. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Rain, and we want to get to know you.
So, Rain, tell me, what's your lore?
My lore?
Your reading lore?
Like my reading lore? Okay, my reading lore. So I have been a lifelong reader. It's been a really big part of my life, and I think part of that is because I was a huge Percy Jackson kid growing up.
I love that. Logan Lerman.
Logan Lerman, you're our dream guest on The Book Was Hotter. So
Absolutely.
someone send this to Logan
call
Lerman,
your wife.
please.
She's right here waiting.
I'm waiting in the studio. Please. No, I never got over Percy Jackson.
No, it's literally perfect. It's a perfect series.
Yeah, I will talk about it forever. So I'm also a Percy Jackson adult, but even as a kid, like my mom read to me a lot. It was like really encouraged in my household, which like I'm very thankful for because it shaped so much of who I am now. So maybe to like a fault, because even as a kid, like I was reading so much that my parents were like, go outside and play, like go be a normal kid, like go get into trouble, like go scuff your knees and get dirty. But I just wanted to spend my summers reading in my room. And I kind of haven't changed, because even now as an adult, it's like reading is how I recharge. So if I'm feeling a little depleted, like the one thing I want to do is go home and read a book. And that's like how I recharge now. So like I read for escapism.
I love that.
And I think that's partly why I love fantasy books so much. And yeah, it's like still like I read kind of the same books that I was reading back then.
I love that your mom read you at bedtime.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Shout out to my mom. Thank you for reading to me at bedtime, The Giving Tree. So Michelle, what's your lore? I need to know your reading lore.
I have to confess a big secret. I hated reading growing up. My family was not readers.
Michelle.
I know.
This is wild.
I know.
This is news. This is completely opposite from me.
I am aware that this is a surprise. So my mom didn't read me like books. She recounted Disney movies. So I would like ask for like Mulan or Cinderella or like any stuff like that. But like there's no one in my family that reads books like I do. So I was not a big reader growing up, and then I wanted to be like cool and popular and not a nerd, and that was like a huge thing for me. But now I know that it was silly, and reading makes you hot.
Reading makes you hot.
Hot people read books.
Period.
Book hotties. But yeah, so basically I was like really insecure, really didn't want to like, again, be a nerd. But then a teacher had a test that it was like, you have to read a complete book, and then I'll quiz you about it. And it was not like a writing down quiz. Like
high stakes.
she'd interview you about it. And I was like, oh, I cannot fake it till I make it, like I usually do. So I actually had to read the book. So I went into my room and read all afternoon, because I needed to read this like 200-page book, which was huge. If you're not a reader, like a 200-page book is intense. So I literally closed the door and went to read all afternoon. And then I just kind of remember going to shower and then coming back to my room. And I was like, oh my God, I turned on the TV and I was like, I was watching this movie and it was incredibly great and amazing. Like, where is it? And I was just like changing the channel, trying to find the movie that I was watching. And then I looked down and it's the book. And
It's
I'm
the
like,
book, yeah.
I was like, wait.
That's like life-shattering moment. Yeah.
It's like movies. Like, it's just movies in your
Exactly.
head. And that was like the beginning of everything. Then I really enjoyed reading, but not avidly. And then I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And
Cassandra Clare.
it triggered something in my brain. And I just never stopped reading afterward. And I think it's the escapism factor that you brought up. That it was just like, I needed to escape so badly. And books are all about connection as well, right? Like sometimes you need friends, you need someone to like take care of you, who is looking for stories. And like especially Clary, who is like the main protagonist of the Mortal Instruments, many people don't like her, but I was like, that's my girl right there. Like we held hands and we went through a whole new world. And it's just that, like, it was like the escapism that I said, the friends that I needed. It was just books gave me everything that I needed in that time. And they just continued to give it to me. Like when I needed to escape into other worlds, I I went into fantasy. And then when I needed to understand where I was in life, I went into romance because it's such a safe space to like
I love
actually
that.
explore,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on in your life about, you know, love, who you are, gender, sexuality, like everything like that. So I still I'm an avid reader of both fantasy and romance, and sometimes in nonfiction here and there.
I love that you brought up that characters feel like friends, because they totally do. And like they occupy the same space in my brain and my memory as like my friends do. So it's just like highlighting how important like those characters are.
Absolutely. And like in so many ways, right? So like Cassandra Clare has like so many books. So at this point, we're gonna be like at the 30th book of the Shadowhunter world. So books do feel like friends. And for example, Cassandra Clare has such a big, intense world.
Mhm.
So I read The Moral Instruments when I was 15, and then to see the characters grow up and go
Yeah.
through life with them, that's such a special part. Kind of like Percy Jackson as well. Like you grew up with him. Now he's in college.
Yeah, I know. Like I've outgrown like my favorite characters.
No,
I don't
don't
want to
say
talk
that.
about it. No, I'm older than them. But like they're still always there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're always
still-
there for
yeah.
you, and like they kind of like grow up with me in my head. Like for example, when I read, I think again The Moral Instruments, I was like 12 at the time.
Mhm.
Clary was turning 15, and I was like, whoa, she's
so
older.
cool.
You know, she
Yeah,
got it. Of course, she's gonna be running around New York City.
Of course.
You know, solving crime, like you know, fighting demons. And and now that I am 26, I'm like, that was a child was alone on the streets, so somebody save her. But you know, but she did it. We did it. And that made me believe that I could do it.
Totally. Well, okay, I wanted to ask, what are some of your favorite books of all time?
Oh my god. I think we share our love for Shatter Me, of course.
Of course.
Ah,
Aaron Warner.
Aaron Warner. Nobody.
He's the blueprint.
Nobody has
Yeah.
ever done it.
I
Like Aaron
know.
Warner has ever done it. I mean, of course, Shadowhunters. That's a huge one for me. The Hunger Games. Shout out Hunger Games Renaissance. Let's go.
Dystopian Renaissance.
I have never felt more alive than I was reading Sunrise on Reaping again. I was like,
We're
oh,
back. We're so back.
I'm so excited for the movie. And then Shadow and Bone, Lee Bardugo, Six of Crows,
Mhm.
immaculate.
Yeah, agree.
Like literally like, perfection. But also I'm a huge romance reader now, so I think Lila Sage, Elsie Silver are my, like, I'm on my cowboy romance era.
Absolutely.
I love single dads as well. Tessa Bailey, huge. And Abby Jimenez, like Just for a Summer changed me forever. So those are kind of like the
Go
books
off.
that shape me now.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course also Percy Jackson. That was such a big
Yeah.
one for
Oh
me.
yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Okay. This is hard because we like briefly talked about our favorite books before this, and like we ask our authors this when they come in, and it's always so hard to pick. It's like picking your favorite
It's
kids.
like, what do you
but
mean? I
like,
haven't read a book ever in my
yeah,
life.
exactly. So there's obviously so many books that I hold so close to my heart, but just for the sake of right now, I wrote them down so I
Okay.
wouldn't forget. Okay. Vicious by V.E. Schwab.
Oh, such a good one.
V.E. Schwab,
They're
if you're watching
husbands.
this. Will of the Many.
Absolutely. That's a new one.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
newer one. Golden Sun, which is the second book in the Red Rising series. Shatter Me, of course.
Of course. That's such a big one.
And then Song of Achilles.
Oh.
So if you want your heart ripped out, then Song of Achilles.
That one
so
still haunts me at night.
yeah, no,
like, Are you
totally.
kidding me? Like the writing is so beautifully poetic on that one.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Madeline Miller, like she's just like god tier writing. But I think like in all of these stories, like obviously I love the escapism, I love the magic and everything, but like I think what I looked forward to the most, especially as I was like younger reading these books, is like I was always looking for the romance in them. And
Yeah.
I was like, I would like kind of flip ahead and like look for when like the love interests' names would like appear on the
Absolutely,
page. And then I'd be
yes.
like, oh, only 50 pages till they're together
Let's
again. And I
go.
was just like so excited for that. And so like when I was young, I think I craved romantasy without knowing that like obviously that wasn't like really a thing then. But like if my past self could learn that romantasy became such a huge thing, she would be so excited. So I'm very excited about romantasy because it's something that I've been waiting. It's
Well,
time.
no,
Yeah.
Well, it's like, of course, the Hunger Games. There's so many things that you can talk
Yeah.
about, right? Like, but of course, like you want to talk about Katniss and Peeta,
Yeah.
Gale or Peeta.
Exactly.
By the way, do you know that Alice Wood is Team Gale? I know.
What?
I'm shocked.
How did I not know?
She
Allie,
just
you can't
revealed it
do
on the
that.
latest LA Book Festival.
That's so brave of her.
That is so brave of her to
I still
admit.
love her the same, but that's
no, I know
wild.
that it took me a while. I had to sit down with myself and just think that this is someone that I love. She's my best friend.
You had to like go through the stages of forgiveness of Allie Hazelwood.
I was like, I forgive you. That's okay. I know, that's crazy.
She might be the only Team Gale person that like comes to mind for me right now.
Okay, thank God. I was gonna ask you, like, you're Team Peta.
Yeah,
of course.
Obviously.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like on the older series, especially like it's again Team Peta, Team Gal, or like you know Chase or Simon, or like so many like love triangles back then.
I was Team Gale until obviously at the end of
That's crazy.
I saw the blink. I saw the look in your eyes. I was Team Gale for so
a
long.
Second.
Yeah.
Why?
But
he was never.
It's the dark hair. It's the dark-haired love interest. Okay, sorry. Peta's just so nice.
Okay, whatever.
But
I forgive
we
you.
later learned that was like that was the best part of him. So anyway,
no, Team Peta all the way. I always saw him for who he was.
Okay,
I'm sorry, those plot twists. There's like, if it wasn't for the baby, she came here with me. Banger.
Yeah,
he never
did.
missed.
Yeah, he ate with that one.
Yeah, he did with that one.
Thank you, Peta.
Yeah, but man, maybe I have a thing for like blonde men, and I didn't realize because Aaron Warner.
I know.
Yeah, damn.
Blonde
Jace.
Blonde love interests are like coming
amazing.
back again.
I know. Oh my God. And yeah, now Haymitch.
Oh, now Haymitch?
Okay, I'm having like a mental breakdown right now.
And Warrior Princess Assassin.
Oh,
both of the love interests are blonde. So
and Dusty from Wild and Wrangle, the last one for Lila's age.
Blonde love interests.
Just give me a second.
They're coming back.
Are we discovering something about ourselves right now?
I think so. Michelle, I have an icebreaker question for you.
Tell me.
Why would your kidnapper return you?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I'm a yapper. I never shut up ever. Even in my head, I'm like yapping away. I think he would get tired of me. I have like so many topics in my mind, and now that I have a captive audience, he thinks that he kidnapped me. Actually, it's backwards. I'm like, I'm glad that you're here because I have something to say.
I love this.
I have so many things to talk about how Julie and the Phantoms was canceled way too soon. We need at least one more season. The Seas of Crows spin-off that we never got, even when we had the perfect cast. Absolutely. How Merlin from the BBC needed one more season. Like so many, the ending of How I Met Your Mother. Like I was like, let's go. I can talk all day, all night, especially about my Barbie rankings. I love to talk about Barbie movies so much.
He needs to be ready to talk about Barbie movies.
Like I'm glad that you're here because now I can talk about my rankings. Which the first one, it's hard. It's Princess and the Pauper. Like you have songs and that because people are like, which is better, Princess and the Pauper or 12 Dancing Princesses? Princess and the Pauper, you have songs. All the songs are bangers. Not only just songs, good songs, incredible songs, life-changing songs. They should win Grammys. Anyway, so then it's Barbie Pegasus, because the love story in that one is incredible. And then Barbie Fairytopia, and then 12 Dancing Princesses.
I was going to say Fairytopia might be my favorite.
Or you have Bibble.
Bibble, I know, that's literally why.
Yeah,
that was on repeat.
Do you love 12 Dancing Princesses? You can...
No, I do.
Okay.
There's not a Barbie movie I don't like.
Space.
This is a safe space. I eat them all up. I still would.
Exactly. Also, another reason it would be like, depending on how I'm feeling that day, he'll be like, give me $1 million for Michelle. And I would be like, excuse me, $1 million? How dare you? Ask
Go
for
higher.
More. Go higher. Actually, bigger. Warner would never. I'm sorry.
Warner would never.
I would be
Absolutely
priceless to him, and I know that in my heart. And then if I'm feeling on the other side of the spectrum, I'll be like, $1 million? Really? Me?
For me?
Oh, you think I'm worth $1 million?
I'm blushing right
now. I was like, tell me more. And also, I just know that he would forget my Kindle. And I need it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I like pack my Kindle and my clicker.
And the clicker. You can't forget the clicker.
Don't forget the clicker. Yeah. Are you a clicker person?
I'm a clicker person.
Okay, thank God.
Like, especially like on the treadmill. Like,
oh my God, life-changing.
Life-changing.
I didn't get one for like 2 years.
Yeah, you put it off.
And then I got it, and I was like, maybe I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm
clicker for the Kindle, life-changing.
Yeah. How about you? Why would your kidnapper return you?
Why would my kidnapper return me? Okay, I think I'm just a little high maintenance. You know, I feel like it would be like if you give a mouse a cookie, but it's like if you give a girl a sweet treat. And I would like ask for a sweet treat, and then I'd ask for more. I'm like, hey, I have my multi-step skincare routine, morning and night.
Yeah, you have to pack the skincare.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, grab the skincare, grab the gua sha. We got to do like the gua sha face massage every day.
You would change his life, actually.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll do it to you. I'm like, we're gonna do it right now together. And then I'm like, okay, you got to put on like the 8 hours of like white noise in the background for me to fall asleep.
I love that.
And then first thing in the morning, like I need espresso like ASAP, or else.
Or he'll really return you.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm like, my head hurts. My head hurts. I'm gonna start complaining. And then at night, I need my Kindle. I need the matcha green Kindle with the clicker.
Yes.
We need to light a candle. We need to get a good playlist going.
Absolutely.
And I need a sweet treat. We'll get you a sweet treat while we're at it.
Absolutely.
They'd be like, get her out, please. God, please.
I think the most romantic episode of Friends was when Monica was all upset about being high maintenance. And then Chandler was like, yes, you are high maintenance, but I love maintaining you. I'm sorry, your kidnapper doesn't want to maintain you. Well, maybe he's not for you.
That's actually something we'll talk about later in It Happened One Summer, is like that dynamic of like kind of the female love interest like not dialing back her high maintenance, and it's like it's something that like the male love interest doesn't like shame her for or treat her differently for. In fact, he's cheering her on. He's like, period, I'll back you up on that.
Actually, like how many floors do you want in this house?
He's like, how can I help? Yeah.
Let me spoil you.
Yeah, exactly.
Life-changing.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Emily Henry's new book, Great Big Beautiful Life.
Oh my God, I loved it. I think she nailed this one.
Oh,
I think this is a
did.
polarizing book, but for me, it's my top Emily Henry.
I love Emily Henry, and like I love that her brand is romance for like readers and writers, and then it has like a little sprinkle of summer, like a little small town romance.
Absolutely.
And like it's such a safe space because you know if you need that vibe, you know exactly where to go.
No, as soon as the Emily Henry books comes out, I'm like, it's summer now.
It's
I don't care that it's technically spring. Doesn't matter. It's summer.
Exactly.
Emily Henry says it's summer.
And it's summer. She's like the groundhog, but for summer. Okay, so Michelle, can you pitch me Great Big Beautiful Life?
Absolutely. So I think on the surface level, it is about two journalists competing to write this incredible memoir about this Hollywood star socialite person, right? But at the core of it, it is about love. What does love represent? What does love look like? You know, is it long-lasting? Is it everlasting? What different kinds of love shows for you, and also what it is to live your life in the screen, like in the media. What does belonging to yourself mean? And I think that is the thesis statement that Emily Henry writes these books about. And there is competing storylines. You have like the past, like Margaret telling her story, and then you also have the present, which is Hayden and the main character that I forgot her name.
Alice.
Alice,
our girl Alice.
It's just because in my head I am her.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's actually Michelle.
It's just
Michelle's
me
the
and
main
Pedro
character.
Pascal
Yeah,
in all books. So I'm just like, yeah, that guy that looks like Pedro Pascal. Alice and Hayden, which Hayden is one of my now favorite top book boyfriends.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about him?
I love Hayden. As soon as like I didn't expect Hayden to walk onto the screen book page when he did. And like, you know, the door opens and he's standing there and I was gagged. I was like, oh,
okay. Who's this?
He's like
tall drink of water.
Yeah, mysterious writer man who's just like already brooding. I was like,
it's given a little. It's not enemies to lovers. It's rivals to lovers.
It's rivals to lovers.
He's trying to take something from her, and yet he's hot. What can I do? I'm just a girl.
Yeah, exactly. We're just girls.
We're just girls.
And I know, so they're both basically competing to write this book for Margaret, right?
Yeah.
And so it's hard because like they both want the same goal, and so while they're kind of like fighting each other, like career-wise, to like win writing this book for Margaret, they're also kind of like fighting their feelings for each other. Absolutely. As like the tension's coming out on page.
And I love that like he had so many like boundaries with her, because you could tell that she was important to him from the very beginning.
Yeah.
By the way that he treated her, like I think she's such a relatable character. I think I related so much to her that like everything's like, this is amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much for welcoming me into your house. And Margaret is like, we're just having tea. Like, you should have your standards higher. And I'll be like, you know what? Maybe.
No, that's okay. So this was one of my favorite parts about the book is that so obviously it's like a grumpy sunshine dynamic and she's the sunshine, but like she's so optimistic, but in a way that you're just like rooting for her because she
Absolutely.
sees the positive in everything and she's just so excited and honored for like every opportunity that she's getting. Um, and then it's like you put her in a room with Hayden, who's super grumpy, and it's like her optimism and her happiness is kind of like it almost appears like it's a little bit grating on him and he's like a little bit annoyed. And so she leans into it harder and because she likes annoying him. She likes getting those responses out of him, which I feel like a lot of the time in romance books, those like that dynamic's kind of flipped where it's like the guy irritating the girl. But I loved in this that she was the one who was like, she's like, I'm not going to hold myself back and act differently because it's annoying you. I'm actually going to do it harder and you're going to deal with it.
I loved it when he was like, you're smiling. And she would like smile harder.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to smile bigger then.
Yeah, it's going to make sense. And I also love how she connected with people, right? Like she's such like a sunshine like person that like she immediately connected with like the bar, like, you know, the bar owner and stuff like that. And it was just, it showed like she connected with Margaret as well. And like he had a harder time connecting with people, but like, and yet he was such a big sweetheart at the end of it.
Like she's less afraid to be vulnerable with people. And like, I really respected that about her because that got her like close relationships with so many people. And I feel like he kind of quietly admires her for that, which is very endearing. He's like quietly kind of cheering her on the whole time. Like something I found really relatable about her is that despite like, so she's a writer who comes from Georgia, but like she's living in LA and like she's writing for like an online publication.
I think The Scratch.
Yeah, it's called The Scratch. And she kind of holds herself back from like talking to her mom and her sister about her career because she doesn't feel like it's good enough for them.
Yep.
And she just like wants to make them proud. She wants their approval. Like despite how far she's come, she never like is kind of able to acknowledge like her accomplishments for herself. And then Hayden's right there being like, no, you should be proud of yourself. You have come far despite him being like an award-winning like author and him coming from like a super established background. Like he's hyping her up and kind of showing her that like you should be proud of yourself. But it's very relatable from her standpoint too, to just be like, okay, I can always try to reach for the next thing that's gonna like make me better.
Yeah. And I also love that one of the big themes of the novel was that she wanted to make her mom proud, you know, like that complicated dynamic, what it is that it's just like, finally I'm doing this thing that like it matters to me not only because it's my dream but because it's like finally I'm gonna connect with my mom, like this is the thing that will make her accept me. And that was such a relatable topic, and I don't think you outgrow trying to make your parents proud.
No, you never do, unfortunately. But as Emily Henry displayed to us.
Absolutely. And it was just such a beautiful raw novel. And it's again like it's not only like romantic love, but it's like the love to your family. The love, like what would you do for the people that you love? Who's your Nicolette?
Yeah. Who's your Nicolette? There was something else I wanted to talk about too, just relatability wise before we get into like the romantic bits of it. But I think we were talking about this earlier, but like Emily Henry is really good, I think, at portraying girlhood in her books.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like, this is like literally first chapter or something. Alice meets Margaret and Margaret compliments her nails. She's like, I love her nails. And Alice like holds out her nails and she's like, thanks, they're press-ons. And like those little interactions are just like, they're so real. Coded. It's so, and it's very girl coded. And I feel like it makes it feel more real and authentic. Same with like the group chat. Like,
oh, that was so incredible, lovely. Like just to see her interacting with her friends.
It was funny.
So real. Yeah. And it's just like, can you said girlhood? Because like literally every time somebody compliments a dress, I'm like, the first thing I say, it has pockets.
Yeah, it has pockets. That's literally it. Yes. No, it's like you can tell this is so written by a woman for everyone.
For everyone, but for us.
But for the girlies.
For the girlies.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know, there's a part in the group chats that was funny because like Alice was complaining about her situationship, and then someone responded. One of her friends responded in the group chat, and they were like, "My enemy," and I was like, "That's so real." Is Emily Henry like reading our group chats or something? So I'm like, "This is a little too real."
Looking at you. Yeah, she's always looking.
She like behind the curtain or something.
Absolutely. No, at some point I was like, "Cut the cameras." What does she know?
Like, how does she know this much?
No, yeah, I feel like, are we best friends with Emily Henry?
Yeah.
I feel so.
Yeah, she is. Dream guest, Emily Henry.
Dream best friend.
This goes out to you. Okay, I want to hear about some of your favorite like romance tropes from this because there were so many. Emily Henry's so good at this.
I love a man who's down bad.
He's
and
so down bad.
You can see that he's down bad from the very
from
beginning.
the beginning.
How do we even start? I think the one scene that I just cannot stop thinking about was when they were at the beach and he was scared of the snakes, but yet he carried her and helped her and protected her regardless of how he was scared or not, because she was more important to him.
So like, despite him being afraid of snakes and she wasn't, there was like snakes in the grass and he was like, he like bride style carried her like to the water and she was like, I'm not afraid, I don't need this, and he's like, it's okay, I'm gonna ignore my fear.
Protect you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
My biggest fear is something happening to you rather than the snake. And I was like Emily Henry, you ate with that.
I know. I was giggling and kicking my feet for sure.
How about you? What's one of your favorite moments?
Okay, there's a couple. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them. Like from the very beginning, like I don't know, there's just, even when he's like still grumpy with her, you can tell that there's moments where like he still cares and he's like very observant and watching her, even if he's like not being very nice to her. But like one instance is like she notices he doesn't leave like the parking lot until she's in her car with the doors locked and driving away, and then he's like, I can leave. Or like he walks her home at night when it's dark.
That was so romantic, and she was like, it's fine, it's so close, and he was like, no, I'm still gonna walk you.
Yep, period. And then I'm like, that's such an Emily Henry staple, and I'm like, when it was coming, I was like, yes, I was like, I needed this again, thank you.
That is your favorite microtrope
from this?
Yeah.
Okay, no. I think my favorite wait, do you know what microtrope it is?
Well, I know from Deep End that when someone writes on your...
Okay, that is one of my favorite microtropes. Okay. In Deep End, like, for context, in Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, like, there's a scene where I can't remember if she writes on his hand.
She writes on him.
Okay, so she writes on his hand, and, like, it kind of reminded me of, like, middle school or something. That's, like, it's just, like, I don't know, it's just like very cute and not something that like I've seen a lot in romance books where it's like she writes on his hand and then she notices later that like it's still there, and it's like, I don't know, it's so cute. It made me giggle and kick my feet.
What was your favorite microtrope on this?
Okay, from this one, I think it's two things.
Tell me.
One of them, she's knocking on his door in the morning.
Oh, yes.
Because she's like worried about him because like he hasn't like come out of his room yet. She's like frantically knocking on the door. He opens the door. Shirtless.
With a towel?
Yeah, I know. He's like, what do you need? And she's like speechless.
She's like, I forgot everything.
Yeah, literally.
That was such a girly move.
Such a girly move, I know.
That was beautiful.
And then my other favorite microtrope from this is the coffee.
Oh, yes.
So like he brings her coffee in the morning. Coffee and a croissant, leaves it outside her door. And he knows a girl needs a sweet treat.
He would be a great kidnapper for you. No, but I love it. Also, there's a scene where like he's like, you taste like coffee. And there's like, she's like, you taste like coffee. And it's like, yeah, because you taste like coffee. So I wanted to taste like you. I'm sorry. That changed my life.
Okay, that's going on the list. New favorite microtrope.
Beautiful.
Okay, one more that I want to remember is...
Tell me.
Like, this will never get old. Okay? Is like, some guy is being creepy to her, like, in a parking lot.
Yes. I love this trope.
And then, like, she doesn't really know what to do. And she's, like, trying to politely, like, shrug him off.
Yep.
And then Hayden comes over and, like, puts her arm around her. And this is before they're, like, romantically declaring any feelings to each other or anything. Like,
yep.
He comes over and
she
puts
doesn't even have to ask. He just appears.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows.
Is like that's the thing, is like he's so observant and he's just kind of like watching her and taking care of her, protecting her. And he like basically like tells this creepy guy to like go away.
That was beautiful. And they're like, actually, let's hang out because they're still this creepy guy still hanging out, and I'm not gonna leave you alone.
Yeah, exactly.
That was beautiful.
And then they like went to a diner after. It was so cute.
Also, one of my favorite moments was when there was a big storm, the hurricane, and she was just
Yes.
living her own life. She was like, anyway, I'm a little scared, but I'm gonna read, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then she hears this like big knocking on the door, and she opens the door, and it's him. You know, he risked his life. He was just like, I was worried about you. I couldn't
love
contact
this.
you. And they spent the storm together. I think
Exactly.
like another forced proximity, but beautiful.
No,
Emily Henry.
I love that trope. She just knows.
She
I
just
don't
knows.
know.
She just knows what we want.
Yeah, she knows what we want. Now I'm like, she's in our heads. Not only is she like watching us in the corner, reading our
She's in
group
our
chats,
heads.
I don't know how she knows.
Yeah. So, Rain,
Yeah.
if you could interview anyone, who would be your Margaret?
Who would be my Margaret? Okay. RF Kwong.
I get it.
I'm like, I was thinking, like, before filming this today, I was like, I just want RF Kwong to know, if you're watching this, I am just, like, so ready to, like, join you and write your biography whenever you want. Like, I'm a
Yes.
phone call away, whenever you need.
I know. She has such an extraordinary life, and she just, like, does it. You know,
I know.
like,
I just want to know everything about her. I want to know how her brain works.
Absolutely.
Like,
She's so
just
smart.
She's everything to me.
yeah, I have gone to so many, like, author events, and she just, like, talks about, like, I don't know, her PhD, her, like, research, and I'm just like, girl, keep going. Let's go.
No, I talked to her at Shelves in the City, and I think I blacked out a little bit because I was so
I blacked out
excited.
a little bit, too.
Oh my God. I have no idea what I said to her, but I talked to her, so that's the most important part.
That's
But-
beautiful.
Okay. I answered who my Margaret would be. Who would be your Margaret to interview?
Okay, just because I low-key want to be her best friend, so this is my rivalry
Okay.
into
Okay.
me writing her book and just hanging out with her all the time. Lila Sage.
Lila.
She's another girl's girl that she just gets it. She is obsessed with Twilight,
Of course.
obsessed with Bella's dad, Charlie.
She's good taste.
Great taste. Are you kidding me? I cannot ever believe that I was like, oh, Edward or Jacob. How are Carla and Charlie?
That's what I'm saying. Carlisle and Charlie.
Hello.
Get the dads out here.
Now I know. Now I'm bigger and wiser.
Yes,
and I was
we've
like, I
grown.
cannot believe I was
Totally.
sleeping on Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
That scene where like he's like, let's talk to Edward, and he has like the gun.
Yep.
It was like that
On
was hot.
repeat in my
Ar-
brain. It lives rent
Hi,
free.
Carlisle. What a man. Anyway, I want to hang out with Lila Sage and talk about Twilight all day long.
That's a great answer. Can I
Thank-
join?
Yep.
I want to come too.
Please
Oh my
come hang
God.
out. Not only that, but like she's friends with like B.K. Barrison and so many incredible authors, and I was like, girl, hang out.
Yeah, she's an icon.
And
Love
again, Lila Sage is just one of those authors that feel like summer to me.
Oh yeah. Well, as we're entering summer, like who is like your go-to authors for your summer TBR?
I mean, of course, Emily Henry,
Of course.
Carly Fortune,
Okay.
Christina Lauren. Those are like
Great
big
answers.
ones that is just like it feels they have this like depth to them, but also
Mhm.
like it's fun and whimsical, and I can just like picture myself reading them at a beach or a lake.
Exactly.
Do you have some?
Tessa Bailey?
Tessa Bailey! She's so good.
Very specifically, it happened one summer.
Literally, like perfect summer read.
All right. So it happened one summer.
Yeah, can you tell me what it's about?
Absolutely. So it happened one summer follows Piper, who is this 28-year-old like influencer slash socialite living in LA. She's kind of just like living the party life, living off of her wealthy stepdad's money. And she gets arrested at this party. And her stepdad is like, okay, you need to show me that you can be responsible and that you can be like a real adult. So he sends her to Westport, Washington, which is like this tiny rural fishing town in Washington. And he's like, you need to go run your biological dad's like dive bar.
Mhm.
And this town is where her dad was from before he passed away. And her mom ended up leaving and moving to LA later. So it's kind of like a chance for her and her sister. She brings her sister Hannah, and they go back to Westport to again go like prove to her stepdad that like she can be responsible, that like she can take care of herself, to go run this dive bar. And she's kind of like a fish out of water, which is like a good metaphor for this actually, is like she's just like this very like glamorous like influencer who's suddenly in this town where it's just like it's very small. And it's just like a bunch of like fishermen basically.
One especially hot fisherman.
One
captain.
especially
I'm
hot.
sorry.
Yeah.
He's a captain.
He's a captain. Let's not get that wrong. Captain Brendan Taggart,
Exactly.
who is this just like kind of like big, like
softy,
like this muscly fisherman guy who like is bearded and like wears a beanie all the time.
You know, he has a backstory and trauma
Yeah,
a little bit. You know,
exactly.
he's going through something. And I just like, again, love that like this man spoiled her. Like,
Period. Yeah,
it just took a while for them to like get to know each other
Yeah.
and like all the tension and all the fun banter. But then after that, that man was so in love with her. The yearning on this one.
Okay, so this one's dual POV.
Yes.
And I was gonna say, like, he's the blueprint for a man who yearns. And I think part of it is like you can see from his point of view that he's like, he keeps wanting her. He's like pining for her in like a Mr. Darcy way, but like he's not letting himself like pursue her. He's like trying to talk himself out of it, and she's kind of trying to do the same thing at the same time. But he okay, so I recently like reread this, and I was gonna tell you like my favorite part about him, if you're ready. Is like,
please tell
I
me.
was thinking about this because like I want to ask Tessa, actually. I'm like, what is his love language? Because I feel like
it's actually like acts of
service, right?
Yeah,
okay, wait, did she say this?
No, but I know.
You know, okay.
In my heart.
Okay, in your heart. Okay,
like
you already
this.
know what's coming. Okay, because like as I was reading it again, I'm like, he's just constantly like, again, similar to Hayden, just like being observant and like kind of anticipating her needs, like even before they're like romantically involved or anything. And like one example is like he's going away for the weekend on a fishing trip, and he like changes the lock on the
that was beautiful.
on the bar's door, so like because he was like worried that like someone would get in while he was gone, and like he helps fix up the bar, like because he just like wants
he just
to make
knows
her
that's
happy.
important to her.
Yes, he knows it's important to her. And there was another one I really like. Oh, this was my favorite one, is that like she's sleeping in a bunk bed.
Yes,
because it's like her and her sister in this like dingy little apartment. She's sleeping on the bottom bunk, and like it's like a bit that she like wakes up in the morning and like hits her head on the bunk bed, and like I think she gets like a bruise or something. Like there's something clearly on her head that like Brendan sees, and he's like, what is going on with your forehead? Like, and she's like, oh, I keep hitting my head on the bunk bed. And he like, without asking her, without saying anything, she finds out later that he like paid, I think it's someone like at the hardware store or something, like
races.
Yes, he like brings money and like instructions to like go fix the bunk bed, like to go put something so like she doesn't keep hitting her head. And like he didn't tell her about this, like he didn't ask her anything, and I think it's just like he's just worried about her, and you see that like through his actions.
Exactly.
And so yeah, love Brendan for that.
Love Brendan. No, and that was my favorite thing about the book, that is, again, it's like all acts of service, and it is, I think that's the beautiful thing about romance books, that is like you see that it's not only words but actions that matter.
Totally. Yeah. It 100% matters. And something, okay, another like micro trope came up from this that I was like, you know what? The girlies are simple, because it's like there's a scene where he brings in coffee and donuts in the morning for her sister and her,
coffee and croissants.
Like, hey, I'm like, I'm seeing a common thread here. I'm like,
honestly,
but yeah, I do want a coffee and croissant in the morning.
A little treat is the key to your heart, and I love
exactly.
No, literally, I was reading this book at the beach, and like that's why my copy is all beat up a little.
I love that.
Like there is like watermarks and everything.
She's
loved. I was at the beach reading it, and I was like giggling, kicking my feet. But like I just love that like it tells a story. Like now I also remember this book. I remember the characters, but I remember that I was reading it on vacation with my mom, you know, and my brother, and we were having fun and stuff like that. And just in the middle of it, I was reading It Happened with Summer.
And now you like remember it because of that. Like even though the book is like a little bit beat up. Like,
but I love that it tells a story. I love when my books look a little beat up. How about you? Are you like a one that keeps them pristine?
So I actually like, I feel very passionately about this, because I think like, as you know, growing up, I was a big reader, and like books were so important to me that like I feel like I treated them kind of as trophies. And so I was like, no one touch them, no one breathe on them. Like we have to keep them like perfect. And then like as I've gotten older, I've realized that like if a book looks a little bit beat up, it means that it's been loved, and books are made to be read. So I feel like I've had a complete like change of heart, where it's like if a book looks like that, it's because like she went on an adventure too. I love that.
Rain, to wrap up this episode, I would love to know, what does romance mean to you?
What does romance mean to me? Okay, I love this question. I know we were asking like influencers at Shelves in the City this question, because everyone has a different answer. But I think to me, romance is a multifaceted genre, and I think a lot of the time it's discounted for like being unserious, because like there are so many moments where we can like giggle and kick our feet and talk about like very unserious things, but I also think there's like a serious part of romance that like I think deserves to be more legitimized.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hell
legitimized.
yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think with romance specifically, like I think it shows people like what a healthy relationship can look like, and it shows people, I think it's a way of like kind of turning a mirror back on like their real life relationships, not only like romantically but also with friends, and just like kind of what are important parts to make these relationships meaningful. And also it just like, I think romance is just like a huge safe space.
Absolutely.
And it's like a really accepting community that like has led to a lot of like friendships in my life.
Absolutely.
And I think that like it just like connects people really easily. So anyway, thank you for asking. Okay, the same question to you, Michelle. What does romance mean to you?
I agree with everything that you said. I think it's all about connecting. Again, because there is a happily ever after at the end that is promised, you can explore so many topics, right? Like, you know, religion and body autonomy and mental health and so many issues, but in a safe space. You know that there is going to be a happy ending at the end. And not only that, but like, the message at the end is like, you deserve to be loved.
Totally.
Like, no matter what you're going through, what you have been through, everything that has happened in your life beforehand, you will always find love. And that is such a promise of romance. And it just gives you hope for everything in the future. And not only that you deserve to be loved, but how do you deserve to be loved? You cannot take, you know, like, just deserve, like, take the love that makes you shine and happy and like brings you joy. I feel like so many of my friends, like, they're just the most wonderful, sweet person alive, and they're like, I don't know if I deserve love. And I was like, you do. Like, absolutely everybody deserves love in the world. And I just think I was at an event last night with Eloisa James and Joanna Shroop, who have been writing historical romance for 30 plus years. And it just made me realize that like romance changes with what women need, right? But at the end of the day, it's always a revolution about joy and hope. And that's what romance is. Like, at the end of the day, it is about being happy and finding love and being joyful and finding our dreams, you know?
I love that answer. I love that answer. If I could repost that, I would. Perfect answer.
Maybe soon.
That's what, you know, that's what romance means to me too. So thank you. Okay, thank you guys for hanging out with us today.
I had the best time talking to you and the best time talking to you.
And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If there's specific books you want us to talk about, certain topics you'd love us to cover. If you need a book bestie, we're here for you.
We're here for you.
We're here to yap with you.
Until next time.
Bye.
Love ya.
Love you. Bye.